Hey everybody, this is Sean Riley with Riley Real Estate and MassHomesale.com with this week's Q&A Saturday video. First off, let's talk a little bit about those of you who watch every week. You probably noticed we didn't do a video last week. I really wanted to, but I was traveling. I didn't have my camera. I was going to try doing something on my phone, but then it also didn't have good connectivity at the hotel we were at. It was a whole mess. So first one we've missed, and we've been doing this for about 10 months now, so not too bad. But apologize for those of you who missed it. We're back this week, and hopefully we'll be back moving forward. It's the day after Christmas, so didn't let that stop me. Merry Christmas to those who celebrate, and Happy New Year, since I won't do another one before the New Year. Alright, so anyway, this week, so when I was traveling, I don't watch too much TV these days, but in the hotel we did put on some HD TV and watch some of those reality shows. And made me think I wanted to talk about what makes home renovation shows so fake. So there are three basic types of these shows. Your general kind of home improvement things where somebody, they has their house, they want to, update their bathroom or their kitchen or their landscaping or something like that, and they bring in the professionals who do the stuff and do the work, and those are pretty benign. Not too much goes on with those. The timelines and the cost, those might seem a little out of line to people who've done those kind of projects, but for the most part, those are nothing too amazing there. I also think they're probably the least popular because they're not as splashy and pizzazzy. Excuse me. Also getting over a little bit of a cold, so excuse my voice and any coughing. Excuse me. So the second type of show are one of the ones that are where they show investors who will buy properties and renovate them and generally resell them. I can tell you from first-hand experience that these ones are ridiculous. There's aspects of them that are like what goes on in real life, but they definitely, at best, leave out huge amounts of details that go into the purchase process, the vetting of contractors, the actual doing of the work, and then the reselling and the costs that are actually associated with it. Hint, hint, it's not just the purchase price plus the renovations as your costs. So, like, all the difference there is profit. There's many, many other things that go in there they never talk about. But specifically, I want to talk about the third type, which there's some variations off of, but essentially the ones where you have somebody who's looking to buy a house and they have a certain budget, and instead of buying a finished house, they buy a fixer-upper, and then they put the difference into renovations. In and of itself, nothing too weird there. But again, so this process, first off, the budgets are usually kind of ridiculous, as are the timelines that they can get the projects done in. So that's the first thing people have to keep in mind. The next thing is that they never discuss how the people actually go about funding these projects. So now, people who are buying with cash, it doesn't matter. Obviously, if you're going to buy, if your budget is $400,000, you have $400,000 in cash, you can buy a house that's much cheaper than that and put the difference into renovations, and it's not, 6 of one, half dozen the other. It just doesn't really change anything. Since most people aren't doing them, they're going to be getting loans. There's only a very few number of loan programs that you can actually buy a house that needs a lot of work and then put that difference into actually fixing it. Most popular is the FHA 203K loan. There are a couple other products that are out there now. I don't know that much about them because most of them are fairly new, but they're still very limited, and they're pretty much, you can guarantee they're going to have all the requirements that you need for a regular loan and additional requirements that will go along with dealing with fixer-upper and dealing with contractors and the draw schedule and how that's going to work and all that kind of stuff. The third option is if you just get a house that needs work but doesn't need so much work that it wouldn't qualify for a loan to begin with. That's a big thing that they never discuss. And then if you do that, you actually have to have the cash in order to do the renovations because you're not financing it. So there's a big difference between, like I said, if you were going to buy a $400,000 house because that's what you qualify to get a loan for, if you instead buy a house for like $280,000 and want to put $100,000 into it, so that technically is only $380,000, so you're under budget. But in that instance, you need to have the $100,000 to do the renovations in addition to the down payment and closing costs to buy a $280,000 house. So again, they don't talk about that kind of stuff, and that's a big deal. So you either need to have a ton of cash and buy it outright. You have to have a lot of cash and buy it with a regular loan and then have all the money to do the renovations, or you have to go through a special loan program in order to fund the renovations that they never talk about and are very complicated. And I'll just tell you that you aren't going to be doing a major $100,000 renovation in 4 to 7 weeks like they do on these shows. So the reality TV is not that realistic. And like I said, that was something I saw. This would have been the video I did last week if I had gotten to it, because it was very fresh in my mind, and that's what I wanted to do when we were at the hotel. So like I said, I was watching a few of these shows. They can be really entertaining, but I would think of it as kind of like watching The Apprentice is the same as if you go for a real job interview, or if you compare The Amazing Race to your last vacation. They're not really the same as what you see in real life. So they're entertainment, they're not really reality. Like I say, loosely based on stuff that you might see, but you have to take a lot of points into account. So anyway, that's this week's video. Again, Merry Christmas, day after for anybody who's doing that. If you celebrated Hanukkah before, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year to everybody, and I will see you in 2016, alright? Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.